3-0. Man, that has a nice ring to it, and that is the record of your Buckeye basketball team as they blow out the Bowling Green Falcons 89-58. Numerous players got involved. We'll talk about who got involved, why hustle stats matter even in a game like this, and we'll close out the show talking about the football team and my level of concern for the defense. All that and more in this live episode of Locked On Buckeyes.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes, part of Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. We're coming to you live on a Monday evening, right after the Buckeyes blow out Bowling Green 89-58. It's Monday, November 15th in the year 2021, and I want to thank every person out there for making Locked On Buckeyes their first listen of every single day. When I got the news before tip-off that Justice Suing would not be available for Ohio State today, and I thought about what we talked about at the close of Monday's show about where some more scoring would come from, specifically in the backcourt, I wondered who else would step up, who else could Ohio State look to in a big way in this game to score the basketball consistently. The leading scorers in this way, respectively, in the first two games were E.J. Liddell, which was kind of expected. He did have a career high in Friday's game of last week. And then also Zed Key. So you got a Zed Key, you got an E.J. Liddell, two guys that can get their buckets inside the paint. And in college basketball, we always talk about it. Outside scoring is key. Outside scoring is very important. Having a lead guard or somebody in the backcourt that can score consistently, that's something that the teams that make deep tournament runs have at their disposal. And so in this game, I'm looking and watching and being curious, okay, where's the scoring going to come from? Will it come from Liddell? Will it come from Key? Will it come from somebody that we least expected? Well, the scoring came from just about everybody. In the game itself, you had Arns, who had 11 points, who hit his first 2 3-point shots. After missing his first 4 Friday, I'm wondering, hey, will he still have the confidence? He got that first shot, he rose up, he shot it, and it went straight through. And I'm like, okay, great, he's confident. And it wasn't a catch, a hesitation, and a shot. No, it was a catch. Let's go right up. I got my space. Let's put this thing right through the hoop. Zed Key had 12 points, a 6 of 9 shooting performance. That man is very, very dominant down low. Now, he's very key down low. Let's go that far. Can't really say he has been dominant so far. Hasn't played any major basketball teams yet, so we're kind of taking this with a grain of salt. But 12 points from Zed Key, 6 of 9 in the game. E.J. Liddell, 13 points. He was not the leading scorer. He was a leading scorer, but he was tied with Meechie Johnson to be the leading scorer in this game. Meechie Johnson went 5 of 12 from the field, 3 of 8 from downtown. And then my man, downtown Eugene Brown. I heard it last year during a game. I forget who the play-by-play broadcaster was, but I'm going to roll through with that name throughout the entirety of his time playing at The Ohio State University. Eugene Brown was 2 for 5 from downtown of his own. So it wasn't just the E.J. Liddell show. It wasn't just the pass it to Will show. It was spreading the ball around. It was getting more people involved. In the first half, there was a little hesitation. No, I won't say it was hesitation. There was no doubt Ohio State was going to win this game, but Bowling Green could have made it a game or kept it somewhat closer earlier on than they did if they capitalized on Ohio State's turnovers. Within the first almost 12 minutes of the first half, a little over the first 11 minutes in the first half, Ohio State had 7 turnovers. And that was the one big problem with them in this game. It was their turnovers. With the turnovers that they had, you open up with 7. if you're playing a team like a Xavier on a Thursday, you're playing at Illinois in the Big Ten, Indiana in the Big Ten, a Michigan State in February or January, not at this point in the season, because they're always better in the second part of the Big Ten play, second part of the season. If you're playing teams like that, those 7 turnovers within the first 11 minutes of the game, those will be crucial. Those points those turnovers, and then the points off of said turnovers could come back to bite you at the end of the game. But from that point, from the 8:42 mark through the rest of the game, Ohio State, they had 5 turnovers. Now, when you think about 7 turnovers in a little over 11-minute span, and then from the 8:42 mark in the first half through the rest of the game, there's 5 turnovers. That's a drastic jump. Not ideal. You want to cut those down drastically. The good teams are not turnover prone, but as you're learning, as you're getting better, as you're learning the team chemistry, these things will improve. I do like the change that we saw from Ohio State from early on with the turnovers to what we saw later on in this game. Ohio State shot 51% from the field. Bowling Green shot 39%. Ohio State was 38% from three-point land, 12 for 32, maybe more three-point shots. I do believe more three-point shots than what Chris Holtmann would want this team to shoot on a consistent basis. But Ohio State in a game where they're supposed to win big, that's exactly what they did. And taking care of business, it's key. These are the times, even though it is Bowling Green, these are the times, these are the moments, these are the games that winning big means a lot. That winning big and taking care of business and putting a team down and not letting them have any type of confidence, thinking or believing they'll come back, these are the moments you can do that. Yes, it's Bowling Green. Some may say you can't take much from this game, but I do believe Chris Holtmann, Jamari Wheeler, a leader on this team, EJ Liddell, Kyle Young, and everybody else on this basketball team can and will take things from this game that they did on the basketball court and said, if we do this now, if we did it today, we can do it more often throughout the season. Thank everybody for tuning in to this episode of Locked On Buckeyes live right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Remember, you can tap into our live shows on youtube.com/LockedOnBuckeyes or on my personal Twitter page at jstevens07, coming at you right after the conclusion of Ohio State's 89-58 win over the Bowling Green Falcons. Remember earlier on I mentioned how EJ Liddell was tied for the game lead for points for Ohio State with 13. Who else stepped up? Who else were difference makers? And I got a little hashtag we're going to hit on in a little bit. You'll understand why I'm using said hashtag. It's just trying to have a little bit of fun and a fun game to watch. Jamari Wheeler, to me, I do believe is going to be a difference maker for Ohio State. Not just defensively. He came in and in the offseason, he stated, Chris Holtmann stated, Wheeler wants to be Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. We have seen glimpses and flashes, and we have seen signs of a player. We could tell a player that wants to make his mark on the defensive end. No matter what time of game it is, first half, second half, latter part of the first half, latter portion of the second, it does not matter. Jamari Wheeler wants to make his mark, wants to make his staple, want people to remember him for being a really good, crafty, smart defensive player. And Jamari Wheeler is doing just that on the basketball court. Also, Chris Holtmann has talked to him about taking more shots and being a little bit more aggressive or picking and choosing his spots offensively wisely, not consistently being a playmaker or not so much being a playmaker, but moving the ball around and orchestrating the offense. He says, hey, you are going to be open. You can be a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. You could be somebody that can create and get in the paint, either create for yourself or pass the ball out. You can do things with this offense, and we need you to do things in this offense. We saw Jamari Wheeler on defense. He did set up and cause a charging foul on the Bowling Green player, and it was amazing. He got right there at the free throw line, set up properly, he was set in his ways. The defender hit Wheeler right in his chest. Charge call going the other way. Jamari Wheeler is going to be a guy, especially when you get guys like Andre Cabello, Jaden Ivey, Christian Lander, and these other guys in the Big Ten Conference that are going to be good lead guards. You want a guy like Jamari Wheeler to do things defensively that can help you. But offensively, I do think as this team gains confidence and as this team gains chemistry, you're going to see Jamari Wheeler be a player that will be very, very vital, not just with his three-point shot, but also creating for other people. Jamari Wheeler, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, he is somebody that Chris Holtmann is not just going to want to lean on, but can lead on to be a leader with this team. Zed Key, once again, continues to amaze me. Now, maybe I should expect this player from Zed Key, and maybe I should expect Zed Key to be a player that when it comes to being in the paint, even though he's not the tallest, a 6'10 or 6'11, he does have the frame, he does have the mass, he can carve out his space down low, right under the basket or in the charging half circle to where the charge block half circle in the paint that can create and get a space. And once he carves things out, it's going to be very, very hard to move him because he does have a solid base once he's down there. Zed Key efficiently, not just on offense, but I'm amazed at how many shots he alters every single game. You need a guy like that on your team. With Kyle Young not having the same skill set as Zed Key, with Joey Brunk not bigger, taller, not having the same skill set as Zed Key, you're needing a guy like Zed Key to come in to be that, to be a guy that can carve out and that can be that guy down low offensively and defensively that can create havoc, that can alter shots defensively, that can be somebody on the offensive rebounds. That is key. You need a guy like that on your team. Zed Key has stepped up in a huge way so far this year. It was nice seeing Justin Arns, his confidence. I talked about it earlier. But it was amazing to see that even though he missed his first 4 threes in last Friday's game, he did come back today and said, hey, I'm not going to hesitate with my shot. Holtmann, and we go over this in practice, don't hesitate. You're going to get time. Your quick shot hesitation or your movement, slight movement the wrong way, is going to give the defender more closing space. And he's going to get right up in your hip pocket. And so your shooting space is gone if you're hesitating to take the shot. Justin Arns, I do believe, is going to be utilized in a big way. Really good performance tonight. Ohio State defensively was doing amazing things early on. Defensively also, they had some turnovers on the offensive end. Defensively, there were some times that they were just benefited by Bowling Green missing shots. Ohio State sometimes in their closeouts or in the rotations, there would be a half second late, or sometimes they would overrun said rotation, and they would give the Bowling Green player a path to the lane. Rotation was good at times there in the first half. And there were also times that Ohio State defensively, there were some mental lapses defensively that we have seen in previous games. They just benefited because Bowling Green, the basketball team, isn't that good. Not that good at all. And defensively, everybody stepped up. And that was the consensus after last week's game against Niagara. We need to work on our defense. Kyle Young, Jamari Wheeler both reiterated the same thing. Ohio State needs to work on their defense. It seems like they did that between Friday's matchup and their game on Monday evening. Remember I talked about a little hashtag that I'm going to kind of mention today, and I might use this throughout the entirety of this season. We heard for a while blank lives matter, this lives matter, that lives matter for quite a long time. Not going to go against what people said with those hashtags and those statements because a lot of those things are true. But in this game and in basketball, hashtag hustle stats matter. And I don't care if it's Bowling Green. I don't care if you're just playing a no-name. Sometimes when you're playing a no-name school, you might not try to work very hard when it comes to getting things that will look really good for you and help your team win and work on those hustle stats. Hashtag hustle stats matter. Ohio State in this game, points off turnovers, they won that battle 20-8. Total rebounds, Ohio State won that battle 43-32. And throughout most of the game, that margin was a lot wider once Ohio State put the last few guys on their bench on the court. That margin started to get a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller. Harrison Hoofkin, walk-on, played. Jimmy Soto's had a 3 of his own, had 5 points off the bench. I mean, everybody played, so that margin did get a little bit shorter as more players on Ohio State and Holtmann went deeper into his bench. Defensive rebounding, Ohio State won that 30-21. They had 13 offensive rebounds, more hustle stats. Second chance points, barely won this battle, 13-12. Points in the paint. This is the one that has stuck out to me the entire time. 46-26. Also, the assist, 27-7, not really so much a hustle stat, but also getting everybody involved. Ohio State had 8 steals. Once again, some of more of those hustle stats. Hustle stats matter. The points in the paint is going to be key for Ohio State. They're not going to be a three-point shooting team. Whenever Cedric Russell gets his feet wet and gets on the court and gets into the chemistry, I don't expect Cedric Russell to be somebody that'll be in the starting lineup based off of how Chris Holtmann has utilized the starting lineup in his rotations so far throughout this season. I know it's only been 3 games, but you can kind of pick up trends even at this point of the season. I don't think Cedric Russell, the transfer, will be very vital, will be implemented into that part of this team. But points in the paint, you're not going to be a three-point shooting team. Outside of Sotos and outside of Orange, you really don't have a consistent three-point shooter or a guy that's a three-point guy. Liddell can hit threes. Sewing can hit threes when he comes back on the court. Kyle Young can hit threes. I'm trying to think. Downtown Eugene Brown can hit threes. Malachi Branham, Michi Johnson. They have guys that can hit threes. But a lot of them are not going to be consistent three-point shooters. So when you don't have that as your arsenal at your disposal, what is the next easiest thing? Get points in the paint. Down low. We know Liddell can score. We know Key can score. But a lot of the points in this game came down low. Hashtag hustle stats matter. We're going to run with that little hashtag throughout the entirety of this season because that's the formula for success for this Ohio State basketball team. Thank everyone once again for tuning in to Locked On Buckeyes live right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. A quick reminder, programming note, tonight, Tuesday, at the end of the college football playoff rankings reveal, myself and Jeff Hunt from the Off the Ball Network will be live with you once again, instantly reacting to where Ohio State falls. Will they move up? Will there be any movement after how they performed against Purdue? We'll talk about how far Oklahoma falls. I know that doesn't have any indication with Ohio State, but with them falling back, I do think that's a good indicator about what the committee is thinking about that team and how they may be viewing other teams as well. So myself, Jeff Hunt, approximately 7:30 will be the start time, but if you want to get an alert on your phone when we go live, go to youtube.com/LockedOnBuckeyes, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you're notified when not just we go live on Tuesday evening, but anytime a new video is uploaded, you will get notified of that. From the basketball game on a Monday evening to looking ahead, kind of looking back to Saturday's performance on the football field, to looking ahead to Ohio State and their upcoming matchup against the Michigan State Spartans. What level of concern do I have for this Ohio State defense? Defense as a whole. I know the pass defense has been put on Front Street. I know everybody has been looking at the stats and saying, oh, Michigan State's pass defense, Ohio State's pass defense is this, and Michigan State's pass defense is that, and oh, wait, so Michigan State has one of the better running backs in college football, probably one of the individuals that can win the Heisman, that will be a finalist for the Heisman in New York. Oh, great. Okay, great. You got Kenneth Walker III. We got a defense that is excellent at stopping the run. Oh, great. We got this one. We got this one. But then you also think about how Ohio State played defensively against Purdue, but then you saw their performance against Nebraska and against Penn State. So you may be wondering, I've been thinking about this literally all day. I haven't been sharing much thoughts about this on purpose with people I talked to throughout the day about Ohio State football. But my level of concern for this Ohio State defense it's not that wild at all. It's not. Now, the pass defense is what it is. I do believe Peyton Thorne, utilizing Kenneth Walker in this backfield, some proper play actions, some motions at the right time, seeing the holes in the defense and then exploiting said holes. I do think Peyton Thorne, not a bad quarterback, but a quarterback that when on, he's on. He is somebody that can exploit the holes that the pass defense has, the confusion that we have seen from Bryson Shaw throughout a lot of the season, some of the confusion that we have seen with lining up with Ohio State. I'm not sure how many wild formations Michigan State will throw at Ohio State. I do know this is a battle for the Big Ten East, and I do expect Mel Tucker to have a few wrinkles with his offense in this game. So I am expecting a lot of things to happen. I'm not sure if we're going to see the tight end center that we saw from Jeff Brom on Saturday. I'm not sure if we're going to see quads to the boundary or quads to the field either at all. I'm not sure if we're going to see that. Maybe something a little bit wackier, maybe a double reverse. I don't know, double reverse pass or a flea flicker. We saw a fake flea flicker, tongue-tied, over the weekend. And so I'm not sure exactly how wild Mel Tucker in the Michigan State offense will be, but I'm not too concerned about them. One of the reasons why I'm not too concerned is because I do believe the offense can score against anybody. Like I said, they're probably going to be I was talking to Nate Dickinson from Locked On Big Ten on the Monday show, and I said Ohio State probably gets off the bus and scores 42 points. I mean, that's how crazy, wild, efficient, explosive this offense can be. Look, if they get off the bus, they'll probably score 42 points. Now, they have not scored 42 points in every game this year, but Ohio State gets off the bus and scores 42 points. That's how good they are. And so when you have an offense like that, if there was a little lag in the video, I apologize. I mentioned this a couple days ago, maybe a day ago. There are occasionally glitches in the system. I apologize. Ohio State's offense aids this defense. The defense that we saw against Purdue, a lot of the passes that they were giving up, they were trying to be a soft shell. Now, when Ryan Day says we were rushing 3, dropping 8, you're dropping 8. Some of the passes that they were getting off, I understand not getting the pressure, but you would think some of the passes you're dropping 8 in the coverage, a lot of this stuff should not be there. But you're also not going to find many quarterbacks and many teams that have an offense like Purdue that is that one-dimensional. Michigan State, not so much one-dimensional. They can get you through the air and on the ground, but I'm not crazy concerned about this defense. If I have to go a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the scale of 1 to 10. I'm not going to say if 1's being low end, 1's a low end, say very little to no concern, and then 10 being the most concerned I am. I'm not at a 10. I'm not at a little to no concern. Maybe 3. I mean, that not so much like right in the middle, 50-50, like lukewarm. I do trust them. I do trust them. I do believe that this defense is good. I do believe that once Ohio State stops or slows down the rushing attack, you're going to be a lot more confident with this team. I firmly believe that. I'm not crazy concerned about the defense. No. The defense is what it is. We know the pass defense is going to be struggling. We have seen how the pass defense is. Josh Proctor being off of the field for this season, most of the season, it's hurt Ohio State. It's drastically hurt Ohio State. The angles that players have been making have been poor. Some of the tackling at times has been bad. There are things that have happened with Proctor off the field that I don't believe that would happen if you were on the field. Kind of a forgotten guy in this season. You got to think the pass defense would be better. The defense would be better. I'm not crazy concerned about the defense, no. I mean, it is what it is. Just kind of roll with it and believe it. If they were playing a team that was pass like Purdue once again, my level of concern would go up. But this offense for Ohio State, man, it's fun to watch. And the defense, do what the offense does to the other team. Fun day. Ohio State wins big, a 41-point blowout of the Bowling Green Falcons. A little football talk as well. Man, I know basketball season's here, football season's here. Let's double dip every now and then and talk about both of them. It's a lot of fun. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at JStevens07. You can follow us on YouTube. Search Locked On Buckeyes. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell to be notified every time a new video goes live. And hit that like button as well on this video. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. one more quick reminder. Thank everyone for making Locked On Buckeyes, not a reminder, more of a thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes their first listen, their number one listen of every single day. Here's a reminder. If you are someone that likes sports betting and betting on sports and making money in that way, make sure you check out the Locked On Bets podcast. It's your one-stop shop to get the news, info, and lock of the day bets for you every single day to make more money betting on sports. For Jay Stevens, this is Locked On Buckeyes, closing up shop. We will be back tomorrow reacting to the college football playoff rankings reveal show.